Alright, hello everyone. I'm Lonnie,
And I'm Ashley.
and we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux, your local Satanist at Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm hoping we're live at least. Yes, we are. There we go. Okay, we're here with the fifth episode of this season, Game of Thrones, and oh my God, like what didn't happen?
Oh, this is my favorite episode of this season so far.
I'd say the same thing for me too.
Yep.
Simply because I've started keeping notes every week during the episode, and this time I had like seriously a full page, minus 5 lines. So
Yeah, there's so much happening. Oh
yeah,
my
this is
god.
this is very busy. Now keep in mind we will be discussing spoilers of the highest order, as evidenced by the little thing down there at the bottom. So, but anyway, we are going to be talking spoilers. So this is Tina's in there says unbelievable. That's yeah. You know what? I would say if any one word had to be used for this episode, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We okay. So let's real quick. Let's do the death toll. This is who we lost tonight. Both the Mountain and the Hound,
Yeah.
Varys, Jamie, and Cersei.
And like everybody in King's Landing.
Pretty much everybody that we didn't have a name for. And oh god, yeah. Jennifer, if you've never watched the series before, I'm not 100% sure if here is where you need to be.
I know.
But I mean, it is next to impossible to avoid spoilers, especially at this stage in the game.
Yeah, I mean the show's been on for 7 years, so
Some of the early stuff is ingrained into pop culture now.
yeah.
The Lannisters having their little incest thing. The Ned Stark stuff is, everybody knows it, so it's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, like we got a bunch of people, Lindsay, Rick, Linda. Yeah, seriously, like
What are they saying? I don't have the chat.
just Rick's wanting those Game of Thrones really that good. Linda was disappointed with their death. I don't know if you're talking about Jamie and
They
Cersei
who?
or the Mountain and the Hound. So I don't even know how to deal. Well, you know what? This is like Untitled Nerd Network Game of Thrones support group. Our meetings are every Sunday night at 10 p.m.
That's a good way to put it.
I mean, yeah, it's seriously, that's what, for the most part, this season afterwards has been more of like an emotional support meeting instead of a review because I think everybody's so upset after every episode.
And like it's ending, so you're really sad about
Yeah,
it.
and it sucks because, we watched the little next episode thing and it's like on the final episode of Game of Thrones. I'm like,
I can't believe it. Yeah.
no. Battle of the Brothers was great, but with a sad ending. Yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you, this episode had some of the darkest Game of Thrones themes I've ever heard
Yeah.
or ever seen. We had, the part where the Mountain was, pressing the Hound's eyes out of his skull, and then he just starts screaming and attacks him, and they go tumbling out the wall and down into the fiery dragon. Oh, speaking of fiery dragon.
There were
Hey,
no extra dragons.
Hey, Jessica. Yeah, there were a bunch of fan theories that got completely shot down here.
By me.
There were no extra dragons. A lot of people were thinking that, oh, Cersei's dragon went off in season 5. I'm still saying that's a possibility.
Cersei's dragon. You mean Danny's
Oh,
dragon?
Daenerys' dragon. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting all these names mixed up. We got a lot of characters to cover. But everybody was like, "Oh, Daenerys' dragon, went off during season 5 and
Had
stayed young."
babies, yeah.
Yeah, had babies. We still don't know that didn't happen.
True.
It could happen. It may have happened, and we may never know it happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
So, yeah. Hey, Jessica, welcome to the stream. Joey too. Does Joey? I know you watch Game of Thrones, right? He does watch Game of Thrones. But living like on the West Coast, do we still have? Do we run the risk of people from California watching our review right now and having it spoiled because it hasn't shown on the West Coast yet? Is that or do people on the West Coast have a workaround?
I don't know.
They're like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna watch Game of Thrones at 6 p.m.
I don't know.
I think it'd be great. But at Danny's the Mad Queen, we a lot of Eagle Eye viewers would have noticed that last episode, but most everybody else knew for sure, or probably around the 25 or 30 minute mark of this episode.
10-minute mark.
We
that
all
first conversation, even with Tyrion, was just kind of chilling.
She had the look of like a post-apocalyptic war priestess.
Well, yeah. So Tyrion comes up to her and says, "Hey, I have this really important thing I need to, discuss with you." And she basically is like, "Not only do I already know that, but I know that you're the one who caused it."
Yeah.
He's just like, So.
Oh no! He says no. It airs at the same time for us, so I guess they have access to HBO East and West just like we do. And I don't think HBO has the ability on HBO now to stagger it. Have it on at like 9 p.m. here, and then 3 hours later hit the West Coast with it. So I was actually wondering, because that's one good thing about talking to different people across the ocean, is you get to see like what they have to deal with as far as some of the crazy like cable regulations and stuff.
Well, so I have a friend who lives in Spain, and it airs at 2 a.m. on Monday morning for her. So,
yes. So I guess it does do all the way, because they're most of Europe is between 5 and 8 hours ahead of us. So, whew, God, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, so she can't watch it until she gets home from work on Monday.
Oh, that sucks.
Unless she stays up in the middle of the night to watch it, which wouldn't work if you go to work on Monday. So
let's talk about Mad Queen, Daenerys Targaryen, burner of cities, breaker of chains. Look, this was messed up, because once she realized, she kind of sees, she's like, oh, Cersei's using the crowd against me. I'll show her.
Yeah.
And begins to literally burn every square meter of that entire city.
Yeah.
Jaime and Cersei died together. Jaime was dead. Like he might as well have been dead, because
he was limping over the finish line alive.
Yeah, he when he washed up on shore, or he was going into the secret entrance, washing up on shore is Euron Greyjoy, and they have them a short little battle. Euron stabs Jaime,
in the side.
I'm trying to get everybody straight here. It stabs him in the side. Stabs him a second time, I think.
In the back somewhere.
Yeah. And so he's nearly dead. Well, Jaime manages out of nowhere, one of those Rocky Balboa, last minute game changer things. Grabs a sword and plunges it right through Euron's, midsection here. And just drives it in. And so...
He's driven by true love.
Yep. Euron's dead. Jaime, half dead, limps in. Goes and hides with Cersei. But they were gonna take the exit out, like the hidden exit, out onto the beach, get on a boat, and float away. But instead, Daenerys' constant assault of dragonfire all over King's Landing had caused all the exits to cave in. So yeah, Sedona says, "I hope that Daenerys would lose her grip and fall, riding the dragon around." Yeah, that would be kind of neat at this juncture, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It's hard to sympathize with her at this point, but at the same time, you kind of just want her to win so that she'll stop killing people.
No, we did have Pablo's in the stream. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Leaks are going to be real, apparently. So, you were actually ran into a leak, today, this morning?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
yesterday.
So was it legit?
Mm-hmm.
What was it about?
That Dany's the Mad Queen, that Varys would be executed, that Tyrion would be involved in the execution, that Jaime would kill Euron, Euron would wound Jaime, and Jaime would die with Cersei.
Okay, I was going to say, if they get one guess... Okay, 2 guesses, coincidence. But once you hit 3 guesses, that's a legit
It was
leak.
reliable.
Yeah.
But listen, it didn't take away from the episode at all. And I didn't know going into it that that's, what was going to happen. It was just like, oh, here's a potential spoiler,
Yeah.
But I've also read like 10 other theories of how this episode was going to go. And it didn't take it away from me. Like, this is still a great episode. My favorite of the season. It was awesome.
Tina says Jamie's dead now. Yeah. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. We didn't technically see a body. 2 bodies. But from...
The castle collapsed on top of him.
Yeah, you had the entire place collapse. I wouldn't see it, even in Game of Thrones, for the entire tunnel. Collapse, 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 collapse. Then right when he gets to them, okay, we're not going to collapse anymore. No. And
if they had a few more seasons, I'd say maybe they could weasel their way out. But, like... It was almost the end of this episode, and next week's the finale. They're not going to bring him back for some last, fight,
Now, Tina said Cersei should have been killed by Arya. Look, I'll go ahead and say Arya.
Arya got the Night King.
I think Arya's made her kill.
Yeah.
She's the MVP.
Yeah.
Of the whole thing.
She probably has more kills than anybody else in the show. She had a list. She was marking people off.
Yeah. I think she's killed more named characters than anybody else.
I think Arya's had enough.
Yeah, Arya, I think...
Everybody just wants to root for Arya, though, because she's so freaking awesome.
Look, Tina, I understand that the Red Keep fell down on them, but I'm going by those... I guess maybe I'm just going by The Walking Dead, where Glenn fell into the dumpster. That if he could come back from that, then I'm pretty much keeping my eyes open across all media at this point. So let's see. We didn't see bodies, but Game of Thrones hasn't been a show to have surprise. Yeah, you are right. We haven't had anybody, surprisingly come back to life. Except maybe Jon Snow, but that's a whole other context.
Yeah.
That's another thing, my man Varys. Man, I was so mad they killed him off. And that right there, Torching King's Landing did it for a lot of people, but Daenerys making the call to kill my man Varys. He was probably my 2nd or 3rd favorite character on the show, and he's dead. They freaking killed him with dragon fire, which was sitting there watching it, and you see the dragon, breathe fire all over him. And my brain starts thinking, oh my God, I wonder what that would be like. Be like standing there and then just suddenly, holy crap.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've had that thought watching this show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say that's pretty typical. Yeah. It's better than another way to go by a dragon. You could be picked up and dropped. You could be chewed up. You could be hit with their tail. You can be squished by him.
Joey's saying he never liked, I'm assuming, Varys.
I never liked Varys either. He was a little snake.
I liked him.
Asshole.
I really think he had the best intentions. And I think that in the end, he will have had... Here's the thing. Tyrion held out hope that Daenerys could be the queen that he hoped she would be. That hope was ill-founded. We found out tonight. She has totally gone insane, and honest to God, I think now that she's gone crazy, I think the craziness of her and her father are going to be linked, because Bran's showing up in this last episode.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think Bran and Daenerys already being freaking crazy, that's where we're going to have the Mad King thing happen.
I can't wait. That's going to be so cool to see.
So let's look through here. I'm just going by my notes because I was making notes in the order in which the show, aired. Let's see. Jon confronted Daenerys. Yeah, that wasn't going to go well. They just basically sat there and talked, and he could tell at that point that she was kind of gone. So that was when she really started to unravel. I actually wrote Daenerys on a rampage. I'm sure that was when she just lost it on everybody. Either that or I may have still been angry about her killing off Varys. Dany on a rampage. What did Tyrion give Davos at the beginning of the episode? Did they reveal that? Remember, Tyrion gave something to Davos, and he was like, here, and he was like, what do you want me to do with this? Or something like that. It was at the very beginning of the episode. And it was significant enough that I made a note on here, because I figured it would be a plot point later in the episode, and they never solved it.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. Tyrion gave something in a little box, I think, to Davos Seaworth. I think that'll be a plot point next episode.
Obviously they didn't mention it, because if they would have resolved it, I would have known what was happening. That'll come up in the next episode, though, for sure.
I hope. If anybody, if I missed, like, maybe them doing something with whatever was in that little package, feel free to say so in the chat. I don't think they did. But, we may have missed something. Yeah, the smuggling thing, where he was like, oh, he's still the best smuggler in all of Westeros, or something like that. And he handed that to him, and he's like, I'm not going to like that idea, am I? So, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no telling. But it was, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
I see the battle at King's Landing. Tyrion released Jaime. I don't think, okay, Tyrion's dead.
Yeah,
Tyrion's going to die because it's going to get back to...
not going to let that go.
It's going to get back to Daenerys that they don't have Jaime anymore. Somebody's going to rat out Tyrion, and then it's going to be over. But that might be the climax of the story where Jon and some other people got to start making some decisions. Because they can either let Tyrion meet Dragonfire for betraying Daenerys, or they can stand up and say, hey, you're acting a little crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Just tell Dany to calm down, right? Because that always calms down.
Wait, Davos said, I thought Davos smuggled the key to free Jaime.
Oh, that makes sense.
Did he? Okay.
Well, then why would Tyrion just ask the guards and they let him through?
Well, he still had a key on him.
Oh, that must have been it then.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't catch that.
No, so he knew, but he's so patriotic to the realm. He's loyal to his cause. He only wanted what is good for the realm. Oh, yeah, Varys, I'm pretty sure. Varys was the only person
who was neutral.
That's you hear somebody say, oh, he just wanted what was good for the realm. That Varys. Because he only said that quote 78 times over the course of,
He's worse than Iron Fist. I'm telling everybody who he is over and over again.
I've not watched Iron Fist.
Oh.
Tyrion the Queenslayer. I don't know if they're going to give that one to Tyrion or not. I think giving it to Jon would be too obvious. You never know. Arya may end up being the one to do it.
Yeah.
She's going to be in King's Landing. I don't think Dany is Jon's queen anymore.
Yeah.
Think?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's having second thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that pretty clearly in the episode when he wouldn't kiss her, and she was like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I see how it is."
Let's see. I thought. Oh yeah, Davos got. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to read too much into that because, I'll go ahead and let y'all know. At any time, whenever I watch an episode of Game of Thrones, mostly Game of Thrones, occasionally it'll happen in The Walking Dead, but I tend to miss a lot of crap that happens. I'm sitting there totally tunnel vision on the TV, and when it's over with, I'm like, okay, I got everything. Oh, I forgot about that. Like, that happens way too much.
I can see that.
Let's see who else. She destroyed his home and his family and the innocents he wanted to protect. I think everyone's having a second thought.
Yeah.
I think but
good people are.
Yeah, which is pretty much everybody at this point.
Well, not her armies. Not her freaking 2 armies.
The Unsullied, even...
And the Dothraki.
The Unsullied... Oh, okay, I'll go ahead and tell you the Dothraki. That's the Dothraki way, is to burn that place to the ground. They're totally cool with it. The Unsullied She freed them from slavery, and they feel it is their like honor debt to her to stay with her to the death. They think that's the right thing to do, even if she torched a town and probably killed 750,000 innocent people.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that her armies aren't just like, well, she's crazy, but she's justified. Like, they're joining in. We saw, Dothraki kill women and children. We saw the Unsullied, soldier try to rape one of the women. Jon had to kill him.
Yep. See, the Dothraki, they live for that kind of thing. Burning, pillage, rape, the whole 9 yards. The Dothraki, that's their culture. Anyway, it really was before Daenerys showed up. And the Unsullied, they're gonna follow her no matter what. She could stand up in front of them and, like, I don't know, like she could do anything, and they would still stand by her as in their minds, brand loyalty, basically. Like
that's alarming. For like Jon, like how's he gonna fight back?
I guess it was like if you lived in just the worst situation possible, and somebody rescued you from that. Even if they did some bad stuff, a lot of people would still feel obligated.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To that person.
Absolutely.
Like, I know you're doing some really bad crap, but you really helped me out a while back.
That's what makes it so scary.
Yeah. Because they'll do literally anything. Look, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, there was one part in this episode that I cried like a baby, and that was when Tyrion and Jaime finally had their moment. And you knew one of them was going to die before the end of the episode. They finally had that moment where, Tyrion told him, hey, you're the only one that didn't treat me like a monster. And they embraced, and it was, how many episodes has it been? This is number 72, I think. It's been 71 episodes in the making. So, yeah, definitely. That was major. Grey Worm was all about revenge. Look, I'll go ahead and tell you, Grey Worm and Daenerys, yeah,
they're both gone.
Missandei's, her death, pushed them both right over that tipping edge. They were right there on the edge, and that death, hey, we're just going to push y'all right over.
Yep. They're gone.
It sucks, but that's the way it is. Oh, yeah, my cousin Nick's actually on here. He made a really good point. He said if Varys really wanted what was best for the realm, he would have saved Ned Stark.
That's a damn good point.
But I also think he's down for self-preservation above all else.
That's why I don't like him. Is he says, "Oh, it's for the good of everybody," but he's, selfish, and he never went without.
You don't remain the master of whispers by taking a stand every time the right thing needs to be done. People remember you for that, and he's basically out of sight, out of mind.
Well, that's why I don't like him.
Let's see what we got. See, Jaime killed Aerys when he was Hand of the King. Now Tyrion will kill Daenerys as Hand of the Queen.
That's a good theory. You don't think so?
Yeah, that actually sounds legit. Like, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, we may just have us a little fan theory there. I'm actually going to write that down.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I'm seriously like, yeah.
He's writing it down, y'all.
I am. I'm legit writing it down. Because we're write that down.
And he just circled it.
I circled it made it a little more serious. Let's see. Really needed Cersei to suffer.
Yeah, yeah.
No good words for Jaime either. Arya needs to add a new queen to her list. Look, and I think that has something to do. They spent an awful lot of time in the last 15 minutes of this episode showing Arya and the effect on her, the destruction of King's Landing had. Absolutely. Like that, they spent so much time showing that, hey, this is affecting her. And she's going to make some decisions next episode. It's like what Bob Ross says, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents.
Wow. Well, yeah, and especially because, when she's riding into the city at the beginning of the episode, the Hound says, when I get here, I don't plan on leaving, and she says, me neither. And then she gets there, and the whole entire place, gets burnt, and you look like you want to interrupt me.
Well, it's just they're talking in the chat about. Yeah, I did. That slipped my mind. Jamie wasn't hand of the king. He was the head of the king's guard. So it wouldn't be, Jamie kills the king, Tyrion kills the queen. Brothers, if that. But yeah, that was like one of those things where somebody says something and it's kind of close to the real thing and you don't really take a lot of time to think about it and you're just like, yeah, cool. Yeah, because I was like, dang it, they were both hand of the king. But no,
Yep. All right. I don't know. I think Arya's going to find a way to kill Dany with one of the mini faces. Like maybe she can be someone else. Trick her. Or she'll just kill her.
That could be. It's like.
But we just talked about earlier about how Arya's already got a lot of kills and stuff.
Yeah, she's had some major ones. Here's the thing. It's like the I don't know how many people out there watched The Simpsons back in their heyday, but they had the Who Shot Mr. Burns, and it was like the whole point of the part 1 episode was to turn the entire town against him, to where everybody was literally a suspect, and that's kind of what they're doing with this episode and last episode. They're giving you a reason to believe that every single person in her circle could kill her. Like, if you look, it's like...
everyone has reasons to.
Yeah, everybody. Except Grey Worm. I think he's safe.
Yeah.
But, seriously, Jon Snow, he witnessed the kind of craziness that she's throwing around. And this isn't just, oh, she's made some bad decisions. This is...
We can't have her ruling us.
If you're thinking about... killing her, like, hey, now's the time to do it, because she's gotten past bad decisions. She's killing hundreds of thousands of people, and we're at the point now where if we don't want her to rule, we're gonna have to take a sword to her,
yep,
or something. God knows you can't kill her with dragon fire, so you just kind of got it.
But what'll happen to Drogon? Let's say that,
Ooh.
Tyrion, murders Dany. What's Drogon gonna do? You can't murder Dany unless you have a plan to kill a dragon too. Maybe that's where the, multi-dragon theory will come in. Some good dragons will come in. Ooh, maybe they'll be Jon's dragons. Maybe they'll be loyal to Jon.
There's no, that would take way too much explaining. It just wouldn't make any sense in the context of the story.
It's another theory, man.
I mean, it was like we were talking about before the episode. I don't think they're gonna introduce anything new in the last episode. It's all gonna be established. That was the big things, because you're not gonna be able to really, there's gonna be no character development. Because believe it or not, Dany's dragons had character development.
Yeah.
They had been through a lot over the past few seasons.
How long is the next episode? Do we know?
It's going to be about an hour 20.
Hour 20.
Yeah. So Jon is a Targaryen, but just because you're a Targaryen does not mean that you can't be hurt by fire. Because remember, Daenerys' brother, they burnt the hell out of him.
Yeah.
But she made it for some reason. So, blood of the dragon or whatever. Maybe if Daenerys' brother had lived, he wouldn't have been able to fly a dragon. Maybe there was something with his blood, his DNA or whatever, that kept him from being able to get on the dragon, and Jon can. Like maybe Jon is one who can't be hurt by fire because he can ride a dragon.
I don't know. We just don't know.
So maybe Daenerys will die, then there will be wild dragons. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know. Let's see. What else? I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, the whole, I knew whenever they were saying, they spent 3 or 4 different times saying, oh, all you got to do is ring the bells, the battle will be over, and everything. And they were ringing the bells. Everybody was calling to ring the bells rang. Um, the soldiers that were going up against Jon and his crew laid their swords down on the ground, didn't want to fight.
Right after Cersei said, "Oh, my men will fight me to their death,"
Yeah,
which was funny.
They did that, and then Jon was like, "Okay, we're just going to take the city peacefully." Well, then Daenerys was like, "No, we're going to burn this entire place to the ground." She destroyed. I'm going to wager she destroyed at least 80% of the city. Just like she's mowing grass.
Yeah.
Just making a pass with dragon fire just over and over and over. And this wasn't just dragon fire. This was dragon fire that could knock a 50-foot stone wall completely down.
The dragon fire was igniting the wildfire, So you had that damage too.
The fire was coming out in enough force that it was destroying the buildings and cracking through into the underground. And there was some pockets of wildfire down there.
All the stone buildings came crumbling down. So, if you were to get spared by the fire, you're probably going to get crushed by a big stone.
And that was also a real concern, especially with Arya.
Yeah.
I mean, God, how many times did she almost get crushed by a pile of stone? Probably, seriously, 8 or 9 times.
Thank God there was all those, 90-degree hallways for her to turn into all those times, I
mean, it was that King's Landing is built like that. If you notice, it's just squares all over the place.
Very convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I get it in a way. Queen of the Ashes. That's so the important thing is Arya's plot armor is thicker than ever.
Yeah, it seems that way. She seems indestructible right now.
I read they're tolerant of high heat, and Daenerys is the only one protected by fire for some reason. Yeah, the wildfire, that was... Well, to begin with, I thought that she was just setting it off in places, and then I was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense to the plot. Not only that, the dragon fire is pretty much messing everything up. I guess all it takes is for somebody's, poo vent to let some dragon fire down in there, and next thing you know, boom!
Gross.
Well, we didn't know that there was wildfire down there.
Gross. That'd be the worst way to go out.
Exploding outhouse.
Pretty much, yeah.
Exploding Dragonfire Outhouse.
No thanks.
That'd be a killer band name.
Oh my God.
Okay, so Amber has something here to say. What do we got here? My
technical issues.
Yeah, my tablet is not agreeing with me. Oh, there we go. I was I was trying. It had see more at the end of her comment.
I saw.
Okay, so after Cersei's unsatisfying death, I have little faith in the final episode being any better. They're probably just gonna let Dany have the throne. My unpopular opinion, because I'm super butthurt about how Cersei died. Yeah, pretty much. People aren't happy with Cersei dying. I think a lot of people wanted to see her suffer.
You know what I think is interesting about Cersei's death? And I don't know if they did this on purpose or what. If you go back and rewatch this, it won't mean anything to you. Mm-hmm. But today is Mother's Day. They killed Cersei on Mother's Day.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I guess. Whew, that...
The one thing in the world that means more to her than anything in the whole world is her kids.
They killed her on Mother's Day.
They killed her on Mother's Day.
Yeah, everybody seems to agree that they didn't really care for the way Cersei died.
It could have been a lot harsher.
It could have been, but here's the thing, y'all. I don't like Cersei just like the rest of you. I couldn't stand her. I spent most of the first, basically every episode wishing that she would die. She's the one that ordered the death of the direwolves. She's the one. I mean, what hasn't she done? She's done everything, anything possible to piss everybody off. And I mean, to hear her practically beg for her life and to cry to Jaime, wanting him to not let her die, I did, like we were talking about. I felt pity for her. I seriously, legit felt bad for Cersei Lannister, just because I want to see somebody get their head cut off or whatever. But if you take your time and you give that person time to cry and grovel and beg for their life and to show you their weakest, then suddenly I don't want them to die anymore. I would have been happy with them throwing her in a cell for the rest of her life. But
I wouldn't have.
I don't know. I just one or the other. Either she's gonna die or she's gonna live long enough to become the hero. I guess. And she did. She lived just long enough for me to feel bad for her. The last 30 seconds of her life on this show, I was like, dang, I wish they'd go easy on her. After spending all that time wishing she'd just die.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I still wanted her to die, but I did pity her in the end.
So did a little brother really kill her?
Huh?
I'm gonna say no, because they said a younger brother was gonna kill her in that prophecy. No, yeah, you could twist that around. To number one, say that maybe Tyrion was, head of the army that, is attacking King's Landing.
Well,
indirectly killing her.
Tyrion was the one who gave them that escape route, and they followed it, and it led to their deaths.
Yeah. So indirectly.
Both
were involved. Jaime and Tyrion, even though they didn't really kill her in the sense. It wasn't a kill of malice. They were both trying to save Cersei, and in the end ended up killing her. Of course, I don't think she would have survived anyway. Really. I mean, she had it coming.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I don't know. Like, here's the thing, y'all. I'm hearing so many reviews from people, fans of the page, legitimate reviewers that, write for like IGN, GameSpot, places like that. And there are so many people that are complaining about the writing in this last season. And
I like it.
I've heard people blame. Here's the thing. I've heard people blame that, they're past the books. And they don't have the really good source material by George R. R. Martin to draw off of. But here's the thing. Number two, I agree with you. Totally agree. This season, in my opinion, is the best season of Game of Thrones so far. The only thing they're suffering from is the fact that they have condensed this season down to 6 episodes. Even if a few episodes are a little bit longer, they've condensed this season down. And Game of Thrones has never thrived as a rush story.
Yeah.
But they spent the first 6 seasons or 7 seasons telling a long drawn out story, and then spending the last 6 episodes wrapping up what probably should have taken 12. So, yeah, she said it would have been really neat to see Daenerys try to kill Jon with Dragonfire and then him end up living.
That would be cool.
Like the Night King.
Like the Night King.
Yeah, 10 episodes would have been perfect, just like just about every other episode.
Yeah.
Just 10 episodes a season. Because I think they were at 7 or 8 episodes last season. And then 6 this season. So, but yeah, I think we're just about to the end of this.
What are you going to rate this episode?
Well, I'm looking to make sure we covered everything. Arya saved a lot of people in the very end, and seeing the mother and her kid burned to a crisp, I think really pushed her over the edge, and she no longer has any desire to kill Cersei. She wants to kill Daenerys now, because she saw the worst, the absolute worst that this woman can bring, and she's like, nope, we can't have this. So they're gonna have to. Everybody's gonna be gunning for Daenerys.
Agreed.
Like I said, it's going to be freaking Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Yep.
Just, we don't know who it's going to be. We know it's going to be somebody. But, yeah, we did. We talked about, the mountain and...
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about them already. I don't know if it was
At the beginning.
Before Joey showed up. But yeah, we talked about their whole little battle and, gauging each other's, or, the Hound losing his eyes, or one of them at least, and then they toppled out of the... It was, like, here's the thing about that, and we didn't really discuss thoughts, just that it happened. I thought that part was very dark, where the Hound was, like, screaming, missing his eye and everything. But I think the overall battle, aside from just looking like a really cool set piece, like I told you, it looked like a freaking level from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Like, it did. There was like a dragon flying over. There was like busted up brick everywhere. They were on steps.
The smoke.
I don't think that aside from looking pretty, I don't think that fight lived up to what people hoped it would be. That was actually the least impressive fight I've seen the Hound get in.
I agree with that. And I think, like what we were just talking about with the shortage of episodes. Yeah. It's like, oh, we have to make these two guys fight because we've been leading up to it for all this time.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, fight. Okay, now that's done. Check.
Yeah, it is almost like they have a freaking checklist of stuff they have to get done.
Loose ends to wrap up, and there's a list, and that fight was on there, and it was about as exciting as checking something off your to-do list. That's how it felt.
It was very underwhelming.
Very underwhelming.
Okay, so rating this, oh God, even, here's the thing. I was one of the people that didn't give two flying craps about seeing them two fight. So my expectations weren't even high going in.
Yeah, agreed.
But I was one of those people that I just never saw the draw in seeing these guys fight, because I pretty much knew it was going to go like it did. There's no way it was going to be a good fight when the mountain is like freaking Frankenstein's monster or a zombie and can't be really hurt. I mean, holy crap, the Hound drove a dagger through his forehead. It still did nothing, and he ended up having to tackle him off into a fiery, pit. So, I mean, there was no way it was going to be a good fight. They weren't evenly matched. It was a really hard-ass warrior versus a zombie.
The Hound knew going into this, like I said earlier with the Arya thing, when he rode into the city, he said, when I go in there, I'm not coming out. He knew that fighting his brother, he would die.
Yeah.
And he didn't care. He was ready for it. And, I think he thought, hey, best case scenario is I get to kill him, and then I die by Daenerys, or Cersei.
What about when Arya told the Hound thank you? When he was walking away from her. That was
really sweet.
We had some touching moments in this episode. So
I give this episode an 11. It was exciting from start to finish. It's been my favorite episode of this season. That's saying a lot. I didn't have super high expectations going into it, and it just blew everything I had out of the water. I was on the edge of my seat the whole entire time.
I'll say, her saying thank you meant he was dying. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it meant one of them was going to die. They would never see each other again.
Yeah.
God. So, next episode, we're going to tie the rest of these loose ends. Oh, I do want to say that I give this an 11 too. There was maybe 3 or 4 minutes of the episode that I just, didn't care for. I didn't care for that fight. But everything else in this episode, we had basically 5 really good characters kick the bucket in this episode. That's like the highest important person body count since the Red Wedding. Really, I mean, I know we've lost a lot of people on Game of Thrones, but this is the biggest number of very important people. Varys, the Mountain, the Hound, they've been building up to that the whole series. Jaime and Cersei, 2 of the biggest characters from the very beginning. So yeah, um, yeah. The Mountain had a better fight against the Prince. He did the fight that killed him basically. That was a hell of a fight actually.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, just checking off a list is what it seemed like. But this episode, despite some of the shortcomings, still gets a perfect score from both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Like absolutely, I was super happy with it.
Me too.
Like there's going to be some stuff in there. It was like this was an hour 20-minute episode. 4 minutes of it I didn't like. That was still an hour and 16 minutes worth of just priceless entertainment. So that it still gets an 11 because it entertainment for far longer than some other episodes have. Give this episode an 8 is what Amber says because of Cersei's death being unsatisfying. Overall exciting, but there were some obvious eye roll moments from Joe. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, agreed.
Anything further about tonight's Game of Thrones?
I think that's it. Just excited for next week.
Yeah, I'm about to fall asleep actually.
Me too.
We're coming down off that adrenaline high that you get from watching an episode of Game of Thrones. Next episode is going to be major. It's just, it kind of makes me wonder what's going to happen. Are they going to go back up to the north? I mean, there's nothing to settle in King's Landing now.
Everyone will die and no one will get the throne. That's my prediction.
God. I think we're going to seriously have to do a...
Westeros apocalypse.
We're going to have to do a preview episode next week. So, that's going to be the last episode. We're just going to have to bite the bullet and do it. All right, y'all. Well, we will see everybody later. I'll probably be back on doing a little bit of probably some live streaming or something tomorrow. I actually finally got me a good GameCube Wavebird controller. I'm going to take it for a test drive probably tomorrow with some Zelda Wind Waker. So, anybody likes Nintendo games, Legend of Zelda series, come by and see me tomorrow. Anyway, that's it. No more final thoughts. No more.
Nope. That's it. I'm done.
Looking forward to next week. I'm Lonnie.
And I'm Ashley.
We are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux and your local Satanist out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. We'll see y'all tomorrow for Wind Waker.